and welcome to In the Kitchen with Mama. I am Mama Debbie, and this is my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, Ella, and she's going to be working with me today. She is not only my editor, program manager, but she's also today being my guest. So welcome, Ella.
Thank you.
And today we're going to start making videos of generational recipes from the past. I've had many people ask me for my recipes, and I give it to them, and then they say, oh, it didn't work out that way. So we're making videos, and we're going to have guests, grandparents on here making videos. We're going to do at least one video every month. So let's get started. First thing I always do, whenever my grandchildren are here and we're doing baking or cooking, make them restrain their hair, pull back their hair. Second thing is, make sure the area you're working in and the utensils you're using are clean. Third thing, wash your hands. I must have washed my hands 10 times already today, because every time I wash them, I think of something and I go handle something, and then I gotta wash them again. So it's very important to do that. So today I'm gonna share the recipe of pepperoni bread. All right, Ella, would you like to get started from here on in?
Yes. So, right here I have the recipe, and the first step is to preheat the oven to 350 degrees, which we've already done. And then we're going to grab our bread dough, just over there. I got it. Okay, so we're going to spray the island very lightly with cooking spray. Like that?
A little bit
more?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
You don't want it to be greasy or anything.
Because then it will stick. Okay, I'm gonna grab the dough and kind of start to stretch it out a little bit.
Sometimes it's an odd shape, but let me tell you a little bit about this bread dough that she's working on right now. I use the Rhodes bread dough, and I pick it up at my grocery store. There's usually 3 in the box or bag, and follow the instructions on the bag for thawing it out. I usually use all 3 at one. I don't put them all 3. I put 3 different bowls and thaw them out, because this pepperoni bread goes like wildfire in this house. I have to cook it at different increments when I'm serving it. So what I do, I make 3 batches at a time, put them in my freezer. So when people are here and we're having a party or something, or just swimming in the pool, or Christmas time appetizers, I'll take out 1 batch, cook it very slow, like 325 in the oven for 15-20 minutes. And then I just cut it, put it out, it's gone within minutes. And if somebody missed it, they're out of luck. So I wait about a half hour, and then I get the next batch out and do the same thing. So I always make 3 batches at one time. You already got everything sitting out, so why mess up the kitchen 3 different times? Do it all once, shove it in the oven, I double bag it, put it in the refrigerator, and then I just pull it out when I need it. Okay, Ella, I'm sorry, I was talking at the bit here.
That's okay.
So, go ahead, continue.
Okay, so I'm gonna do the spices first. So we're gonna start with oregano, and then we have black pepper and garlic salt.
And the typical Italian way of doing this is just use your hands and spread it out the best way you can. While you're doing this, I wanted to tell a little story where this recipe originated from. Back in the day, in the 70s, when I was just married and maybe had only 1 child, we used to go to my aunt's or my mom's house or my cousin's house. We used to have card parties, and everybody would bring something. The person who was hosted had the main meal, and everybody else would bring either dessert or appetizers. My cousin Rosemary brought this recipe with her one night, and everybody went wild on it. So she gave us my mom the recipe, of course, and my mom started making it, and then years later I started making it, and now it's become a staple in our household. And actually, whenever I go somewhere, I'll say, well, what do you want me to bring? I always get pepperoni bread. So I bring the pepperoni bread. Actually, can I tell you another part about it?
Yeah.
It started out as stromboli, pepperoni stromboli. But my family has changed it to
Pepperoni bread.
pepperoni bread. So it has evolved. I think they did that because they didn't like spelling Stromboli out.
Okay, so now I'm gonna layer the pepperoni across the dough and leave a little bit of a lip on the outside of the dough.
And do you know why you do that, Ella? Just out of curiosity, did I ever tell you why you do that?
Nope.
Okay, so when you go to roll it, because we're going to cut this in 4 different sections, and then when you roll it, that lets that last roll adhere to it.
Yes.
Okay, so that's why I do. That's why you do that. That way, it always has something to grab onto at the end.
And you have to tell them about your pepperoni that you use.
Oh, thank you for reminding me about that. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot about that. I want to get a picture of it though. I'm going to go in my refrigerator and get this so I can show you what I use. Whenever we get pepperoni, we never buy it from like the store that is prepackaged. I'm going to tell you exactly where we get it. We go up to, and this is only a half of one because obviously I sliced the other half. We go up to Jack's Deli here in Delaware and we buy a whole stick, okay? And Pop slices it for me, fresh. And believe me, it makes a big difference. And I think that's one of the things that when people say, you know, you gave me that recipe, but it just doesn't taste like yours. I think a lot of it has to do with the pepperoni. I mean, this is freshly cut when I'm making it. So, let me wrap this back up and get it in the fridge.
Okay.
Okay, so now the cheese. We had a conversation about this cheese one day, didn't we?
Yes.
When you were putting it on. I said put out 8 ounces. The recipe calls for 6 ounces. Well, my family likes things cheesy, so I use 8 ounces. But if you don't like things as cheesy, use 6 ounces, as the recipe calls for. If you hardly like cheese at all, use 4 ounces. The best part of this recipe, it's very easy to change and adapt to your taste buds. But I suggest that everybody make this recipe first and then go from there, because they have different tastes.
And make it extra cheesy.
Yeah, there you go. And then a friend of mine, her son started with this recipe, but now he adds all kinds of lunch meat and Italian cheeses in there when he does it, and he even rolls it out different. But that's what I'm saying. This recipe can go so many different places.
How's that look?
That almost looks like a pizza, doesn't it? So.
Okay, and now we're gonna cut it
Yeah.
into 4 equal parts. Does that look about in the middle?
Yeah. It does look just like a pizza. And like I said, you left that boundary so that when you go to cut it, you know, or go to roll it, it has something to adhere to it. Put my pepperoni back there. Now, every week or every month, I'm planning on having guest grandparents on here with their grandchildren so that we can get all kinds of family recipes in here. I have some Polish recipes that I know the grandparents would love to share with everyone. Mine are mostly Italian because that's what my mom was, and so we did a lot of Italian cooking in our family. But I like to be very diverse and have all different kinds, different nations, different backgrounds, grandparents. So I have a lot of different friends that have agreed that they'll be guest grandparent on here. They'll either bring their grandson, granddaughter, it might be a grandfather, it might be a grandmother, but we're all going to try to get these recipes online and get these videos done so they'll live forever in your records. And you won't even have to say, oh, I wish Mom left me that recipe. Because sometimes it's too late. There are some recipes I never got. And I poked around and tried, and they just don't come out right. So look at her, she's doing really good. She's learned to roll that. She stretches the dough kind of to make it elongate a little bit. And then notice how she takes her dough and any cheese that has fallen off, she pats it. You're amazing, Ella.
Oh, like that.
Yeah, you're just amazing there. You got it. going down. So, in the future, I think my next, I don't think, I know because I've already spoken to him. My next video for next month is going to be with my oldest grandson, Parker, who is going to be helping me make meatballs. His favorite thing is the meatballs. Between him and his Uncle Chris and Uncle Billy, it's ridiculous how they fight over the meatballs. And how many did you take and how many did you get? This is what I hear at dinner.
There's never enough for everyone else.
No, there isn't. So, because they're always wanting the meatballs. So, he's going to be our next guest. I'm going to try to drop a video every 20th of the month for right now. And if they become popular enough, then we'll start going 2 a month. But we're going to start out with just 1 a month right now. Anything you need to say about this pepperoni? Am I just jabbering on here?
No, I think you got it all.
Okay.
Making sure none of the cheese gets left down.
Okay. That's good to know.
Trying to stretch it.
You're doing good. Yeah, and see how she just stuffs things back in there? That's exactly how you do it. You just learn to work it. And it's fairly easy once you get the rhythm going. Your first or second time might be kind of like, what am I doing? Believe me, I can roll these out in no time. I get 3 of them done. It takes longer to bake them than it does for me to make them. Oh, I just did it wrong. It's, I'll have to remember that one. Okay, look at her. She's getting it right up there. Now Ella has another mom. Her name's Mom Tony, and she's from Italian heritage. So we hope to get her on the video one day. She has a couple great recipes that I know Ella would love for her to share because she says, oh, Mom Tony makes the best chicken croquettes. Mom Tony makes the best sweet raviolis. So if you're listening, Mom Tony, you might be next after Parker. So get yourself prepared. You can't turn back now. I've named you in the video. And then I have a friend, Janet, and she's from a Polish background. And she has quite a few Polish recipes, and she's going to grab a granddaughter or grandson and maybe bring them on. I got to talk her into it yet. We're still working on her. But, and then I'm going to find some grandfathers too to work in here with their grandsons. All right, look at that. Perfect, Ella.
They're all laid out.
They're all laid out perfect. Okay, that really looks good.
Thank you.
Okay, you want to put her in the oven?
Yes. Okay, you're gonna have to set the timer.
350 for about 15 minutes. Yeah, you got it. Now, I don't know if I mentioned earlier, but you can freeze these. If you're going to freeze them, cut them short about 2 minutes on the baking time because then you're going to be putting them in the oven to heat them up, and sometimes they brown in there. So cut the time on them a few minutes short. Okay? I don't know. I guess we'll wait our 15 minutes and show you what we got, our finished product. Back in 15. Okay, our timers went off, so now I'm going to try it. Now this is the 13 minutes. This is what it will look like after 13 minutes. You see it's not totally brown, and in between it still looks a little raw. We also have one that's coming unfolded. Don't worry about that. We can fix it when it's done. I'll show you how to fix that. So I'm going to put these back in for another 3 or 4 minutes just to get them a little bit browner, especially if you're serving them right away, you want them to have a nice consistency all the way around. So they're going back in for 4 more minutes. Okay, so the timer has gone off. I'm gonna pull it out. Oh my gosh, look how perfect that looks now. See, if you look back at the video, you'll see the difference between the 13-minute. Now this was actually 17 minutes. My oven's a little slower. You'll see the difference between what a 13 and a 17 looks like. So this is perfect looking. So I know I spoke to you about that one that was coming unrolled. I lay a piece of oil down, I put that on it, and I'll roll it up tight. And after it cools, it'll be all fixed. it will roll just like the other ones. Okay? There we go. See how easily it cuts? This is kind of hot on my fingers though. I do usually let it set a couple minutes. But oh my God, it is so good.
We can't wait.
I know. It is so good. And it does look like just rolled pizza, but there's no sauce. There you go. That is your pepperoni bread. I hope you enjoyed our video on pepperoni bread and will join us next month again for our next video, which will be meatballs with Parker. So stay tuned. And if you should have any questions, you can email me at inthekitchenwithmom@yahoo.com. Thanks. Pepperoni bread. So it has evolved. I think they did that because they didn't like spelling Stromboli out. Okay.
So next we're gonna layer the pepperoni. I'm just gonna stop.
Okay.
How we're going to cut this and roll it. Your finger's in the way, Mr. Cameron.
Just hold it kind of down.
That,
Yeah, like that's
a
fine.
little bit more.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed this last video that you had. No? Are we ready?
No.
I hope you enjoyed our video on pepper. I hope you enjoyed our video on